it's easy to tell what some characters are twisted from. Riddle is obviously twisted from the Queen of Hearts, Mally is from Maleficent, Ruggy from the Hyenas from the Lion King, but others are a bit harder to tell. What Jack's been twisted from has been an argument the fandom's been having since Savannah Claw was revealed in 2019. I'm still on the side he's twisted from Yana's Lion King OC, but that's just me. Crowley is one of those characters that people have been speculating over for years. Is he a Beastman, or a Fae, or neither? Is he twisted from Maleficent's crow, or the Evil Queens, or neither? I've been mulling this over for months, and I'm gonna put forward my own spin on this. I don't think he's actually twisted from any of those. I think he actually is the Evil Queen's Raven familiar. Not a Beastman, not a Fae, but an actual Raven transformed into a man. Admittedly, we don't know what Crowley is yet, but one thing that can't be denied is that he's got some sort of connection to birds, from his name to visual cues to some fairly suspect voice lines. His surname, Crowley, is a pun on crow, like the word crow is in there. Although American English says that name with an ow sound, British English and Japanese both say it with an o sound, so it sounds even more like the word crow. It's Crowley, and for people wondering, yes, I did look up other people on... I feel so stupid doing this. I did look up other people with the last name Crowley on Japanese Wikipedia to confirm that it's how Crowley is said in Japan, and to compare spellings. It is, and I also had to Google British documentaries on Aleister Crowley to hear someone British say his name just to confirm. But anyway, sorry, I still feel so stupid having to Google the things I Google for these videos. But anyways, outside of the name thing, we have visual cues. He's got a load of feathers on his outfit, he has that bird mask, he has the gold talon rings, all things that are bird-like. You can't see this unless you have the full body picture pulled up, but Crowley's jacket actually ends with feathers. I don't think these are like his actual wings for reasons I'll get into later, but I do think it's supposed to allude to his wings, which we do know he has thanks to a voice line. He says he wants Cruel to style him all the way to the, quote, tips of my wings. So, we know he does indeed have them, but for whatever reason, they're not visible. His voice lines have some things to point to him being some sort of bird-like creature. He talks about not getting along with cats in some of his voice lines, which famously, cats hunt birds. If he was a bird, that would make sense why he's never gotten along with them. For winter break, he goes south for some warmer weather, just like real-life birds do. But that's not everything. There are just a lot of, things in his voice lines. When asked about if his claw rings are inconvenient to him at all, he says they aren't. I admit it's a bit of a stretch because, like, he could just be used to them after wearing them for so long, but maybe the rings don't get in his way because he has talons naturally, so, like, yeah, of course he's used to them. But I will be the first to admit that is a little bit of a stretch, but just something for food for thought. So all of this begs the question, what is Crowley exactly? A bird fae? A bird beastman? Or what? I think we can rule out Beastman. We know that all Beastmen have animalistic traits depending on what kind they are. Fellow is a fox Beastman and has the ears and tail to show it. Leona has lion ears and a tail. Jack has wolf ears and a tail. Ruggy has hyena ears and a tail. This is extremely common with Beastmen. The only bird Beastman we've seen is Kifaji, and I think out of all the Beastmen we've seen, he has the fewest bird traits that are visible, which honestly seems like Crowley. But when we compare Kifaji and Crowley, we see that Kifaji still has tail feathers visible. Crowley doesn't have tail feathers. Although his jacket might be an allusion to his wings or some sort of manifestation of them, when he's in his vacation outfit, he still doesn't have them. He keeps the mask and talons, but not that. So it makes me think that the jacket is not literally his wings. We don't see Beastmen hiding their animal traits, so it makes me think that's not an ability they have naturally. So if Crowley were a crow Beastman, he would have visible tail feathers. We also know that although Beastmen have animalistic traits, they're unable to change into the animal they're descended from. Leona can't turn into a lion, and Gino can't turn into a cat. The only reason Jack can turn into a wolf is because of his unique maho, not because that's an inherent Beastman power. In fact, Leona is actually shocked Jack can do that and assumes he must have used like a transformation potion or something to turn into a wolf. This is just an implication from the opening movie, but Crowley might be able to turn into a raven. And if that's the case, either 1, he has the same type of unique maho as Jack does, or 2, he's not a Beastman and he's something else. And because of everything we've covered, I'm leaning more towards that second option. We do know that some Fae have shape-shifting abilities. Malleus and his mother are dragons that can change into a more humanoid form. If Crowley can go from human to raven, It's possible he's Fae. He also has pointed ears like almost all Fae do. Malleus has pointed ears, Lilia does, Malinor does, and the craft fairies do. So that could point to him being Fae. I'm gonna be honest about that. That is a thing that could be possible. Fae are more varied than Beastmen, to be honest. Some have animalistic traits like the Zigvolts and the Draconias, but some don't. Aside from his hair floopies that look a little bit like bat ears and the fact he has fangs, Lilia doesn't really have any other bat traits. There's the possibility that Raven Fae are more in line with Bat Fae. They don't have a lot of physical traits based on animals, and it's more personality things. Like bats, Lilia likes to hang upside down from the ceiling, more to scare people, but you get the picture. And like crows and ravens, Crowley loves shiny things. I'll be real with you guys, him being Fae has a good argument. I'm not here to tear that down and say like it's completely wrong and doesn't make any sense, because I do think it is a genuinely good argument, you know? I feel like there's a lot of evidence for that. But there's a reason I think he might not actually be Fae. The fact he has transmutation potions on him seemingly at all times. In the prologue, he just whips one out of thin air, even though for most people they're illegal or very, very controlled. We learn from Leona that they're largely illegal, although in merpeople's case they are allowed to have these potions, but it's a very controlled substance. If Crowley were Fae, and he has the ability to turn into a raven, why would he have to go through the process of getting a prescription for them? Some Fae do have the ability to become humanoid on their own, although you do have to learn how to do it. Like Malleus was born the cutest little dragon ever, and then had to learn to shapeshift into a more human form. If Crowley were Fae, and if he can indeed turn to a raven like the opening movie is suggesting, he wouldn't need transmutation potions. This leads me to believe he's neither Beastman nor Fae. He's an actual raven, and he needs those potions to remain in human form. Now, does that mean I think he has a legal prescription for transmutation potions? Hell no, of course he doesn't. He probably makes them himself, and I think he learned how to do it from someone else. Like there's been the mystery of what Crowley is, there's also been the mystery of if he is twisted from a raven, is it the evil Queen's raven or Maleficent's? I know a lot of people lean more towards Maleficent, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that's the case. I think signs are pointing towards the evil Queen from Snow White. Like, he has a lot of bird visual cues, but there's also a lot of visual cues that tie him to Snow White and the evil Queen. His vacation outfit has apples on it. That's a symbol heavily tied to the evil Queen, poisoned or not. He already has so many bird visual cues in his normal outfit, so to me, it doesn't seem like a stretch to take note of the print on his other clothes. They're probably also fairly important. The stars and moon in his office are reminiscent of those associated with Pomfiore, the Snow White dorm. And furthermore, the star curtains in his office look like those around the magic mirror in the original Snow White movie. He says he reveres all the great seven, but in his office, the portrait of the evil queen is center. This could imply she's his favorite, and of course, if he was her raven familiar, like, yeah, of course she would be his favorite, even if she did terrorize that poor bird a bit. Also, like, Crowley has transmutation potions on him, and 1, the evil queen is known to be proficient at making those, and 2, the raven's with her when she's making potions. I think it's very likely that if Crowley is indeed her familiar, it would be easy for him to learn how to make these potions since he's probably watched her make other potions before. And honestly, maybe it was her that first gave him the transmutation potions. But I feel like my final piece of evidence is the nail in the coffin. The Dark Mirror is a dead ringer for the magic mirror from Snow White. And while yeah, it is a school artifact and stuff and it's not like personally his, Crowley is shown to be using it for a summoning ritual in the opening cutscene of the game, in addition to trying to send you home with it. He's good at using that mirror, like the evil queen was. During the initial summoning ritual, he speaks to his Benefactor, like he calls them that. Now, your first thought would be he's referring to the Dark Mirror, but I don't think he is. I will say I could be forgetting something, but as far as I remember, they've never referred to the mirror with gendered pronouns. We don't even know if it has a gender, like it is a mirror, like I don't know. But here's the thing. Crowley's Benefactor is a woman. This got lost in translation because English doesn't have a gendered you pronoun. Ours is gender neutral, and that's really just kind of the only one. But in Japan, there are additional gendered terms for you, and the one Crowley uses when referring to his Benefactor is the female gendered you pronoun. So whoever he's talking to is a woman. Therefore, it's probably not the Dark Mirror he's referring to. And because the evil queen is so tied in the magic mirror and all the other reasons I've given, I think Crowley at least serves under the evil queen in some capacity. But honestly, I think he's her raven familiar and, like, that's that. I admit, him being the evil queen's crow does raise a lot of questions, like, why is he still alive but she presumably isn't? Why is he keeping the human appearance? what implications come from him being a familiar. And I'm gonna be honest, I need a little more time to cook on that. I've been working on a giant theory for the past several months, and this is just one aspect of it. I don't know when it'll come out, but hopefully soonish. Regardless, thank you guys for watching, and a very special thank you to my ladyfingers in waiting who allow me to continue to make these videos. A big thank you and telepathic snacky treat to my right now, June 6th, 2025 ladyfingers in waiting. I had to check the date because I wrote this a few days ago, but I had to update some stuff. Anyways, thank you to my current right now immediately ladyfingers in waiting, Meechgal2189, Visa, Omimi, Eel, Annette, Kayla, Crabjail, Lady Lunarine, Ukaku, Farah Foe, Richter32, Goose Farms, and Yungumbo. Thank you guys! And if you've made it this far, thank you too. I hope you all have a great day, and yeah, bye y'all!